Hey guys, Miguel Gomez here with TDK Repair, and today we're reviewing the much anticipated YZ2T. Let's get started. Alright, so to start off, I want to start with the build. Just really quick overview if you didn't see my build. One of the shock caps stripped the bleeder screw because of the molding process, which is fine and convenient. All I did was drill it out and tapped it with a 1/2 mil bigger bolt. So it works, it's just not ideal. And also the shock shaft lengths, the math doesn't add up. They say to use a 2 mils of spacing on the inside, but then the shock length doesn't match. That's all small details that are fixable for the next batch of these they make. The setup, right out of the box, is essentially made for hobby action. It's Ryan Mayfield's hobby action setup, and the only thing I think is wrong with the setup is the oil in the back is a little too soft. Probably 2.5 to 5 weight stiffer would make it a lot better. The car drives super well, tons of forward grip, maybe a little bit too much forward grip with, I might need to move the battery a bit forward or use a heavier battery, because it pulls wheelies. If you catch a little bump right, it'll pull the front wheels right up. Makes it a lot of fun, makes it interesting. I know some guys aren't having the best of luck with the stock setup, but it's a YZ2, it has plenty of adjustability, so there's a lot of tweaks you can do to give it a little bit more grip or a little bit less grip. I know on carpet some people are having too much steering. I think if you use the shorter belt crank arms, you should be okay. And yeah, box stock setup works perfectly for me. I haven't really changed a thing. Next is how it jumps, and since it has so much more ground clearance and so much plusher tires and more travel in the suspension, it jumps super plush. It's a lot of fun. I feel like it loses a little bit more speed in the air than a buggy, but it lands so nice and so composed every time that it makes it easy to drive. I really enjoy driving it because it's like a mix. It's like an almost easier version of a two-wheel drive buggy. More grip, more forgiveness, but also it has more speed and it's a little sloppier. So it's not as easy to pinpoint on the track, but it's still but it is still a very good, precise car. It's very, very good to drive. I'm really happy with it. For electronics, I'm using pretty simple stuff except for the motor. That's a R1 V21 13.5, and that just screams. It's really fast. But for ESC, I had to go with, I'm sad to say this, a track star. And that's because I accidentally burnt up one of my R1s. I'm using a shorty low CG battery because of the weight. I would be using a normal shorty pack, but the car's overweight anyway, so with using the low center of gravity one, I'm losing 50 grams right there, so I'm this much closer to spec weight. And then servo, I have a full-size servo and my Futaba receiver. For servo, I have a Power HD B5, which, knock them for being Chinese, they're surprisingly good, and they have a lot of adjustability. The only thing is, long-term reliability, we'll see how it does. Next, I want to talk about the body. I still don't love it. It's a little ugly, the proportions are weird to me, and I just think the T6.1 body looks much better. This looks over designed. Yeah. So the reason you'd buy a Yokomo YZ2T over like a T6 or an X-Ray is that the price isn't absurd like it is on the buggies, but it's it's actually like, it's good. I don't know. I know T6s are very good and so are the X-Rays, but this, if you're in with a Yokomo buggy, I don't see a reason not to get this if you're looking at a stadium truck, because you'll be familiar with the platform, you'll be able to share some parts between the cars. So let's say you break your bulkhead on your buggy, but you have one for the truck, you can parts change and things like that. Same with the transmission. This is actually a shorter transmission that's in the carpet car and the DTM. So with the new chassis that the Yokomo just released, you can install this, or you can drill some holes yourself. But you can install this transmission, move the weight a little further back, and get a little bit more grip. I have yet to try it, but I'm very excited too. Yeah, and you could put the carpet transmission in this to move the weight a little forward in case you're in a really, really high grip scenario. And like the ball diff, you could put a gear diff from your YZ2 if you needed to. It's essentially, it's just a slightly updated, slightly different version of the buggy with totally different suspension. But like the platform is there. Bulkheads, steering bell crank system, things like that is all interchangeable. Lower bulkhead, C and D blocks, they're all interchangeable. And that to me is a huge plus, because that's less parts I need to buy from a different manufacturer. So I can keep a smaller stock of parts in my box. And to me, that's pretty important. So I got some driving shots of it at Hobby Action. Huge shout out to those guys for letting me film there. And as you can see, it's very quick, and today the track was pretty green, but I was still actually able to go faster than I did on race day. And you can see how it lands. It's pretty plush, and how it can carry quite a bit of speed through the corners, and it's a lot of fun. I've yet to race it on carpet. Sadly, I haven't had the time because, as you can see, I'm dealing with a move. But I'm really excited to, because I know the YZ2 CL2 is extremely good on carpet, and I'm hoping I can take what I've learned from that and implement it into the YZ2T to make it a great stadium truck for carpet as well. And if this is going to be your first racing RC car, I say go for it. Mine's been super durable. I've only broken one thing, and that is the upper turnbuckle holder in the front, that plastic like Y piece. It just broke in half. I collided with someone in the air and just broke midair, which was a little weird. It must have been a flaw or something, but I had the aluminum part from my CL2. I had the shorter, the narrow one, and that's what this calls for, so just had it. And just was able to keep racing. Let's talk about the differences between the buggies and the trucks. So main difference is the battery hold down, and I don't love it. If you're not going to use 2 screws to secure each of the battery holders, your battery is going to be moving around everywhere. So make sure to put 1 screw in the back and 1 screw as far forward as you can on the battery blocks, and then don't run any spacers on the blocks themselves, run the spacers on the swing arms, and that's how I've prevented mine from moving forward again. And it adds some weight, so I don't see the real benefit if you're racing stock class, because really, how often are you changing batteries? Another change is the bulkhead. It's a little beefier, a little thicker. Not a big change, but there are the next major change is the transmission. It is the lay-down dirt transmission, which means it's about 10 mil shorter, 5 mil shorter than the carpet transmission, and it has quick release rear diff, integrated spur gear cover, things like that. And I haven't used it in a buggy yet because you need to drill out the chassis or get a new chassis, but I'm excited for the next version of the buggies to have this and the carpet transmission available. And I think that's going to be a really good way to be competitive with the associated guys, because they've had that adjustability since the B6-1 or maybe the B6. But I'm praying, hoping, wishing that the next version of T or buggy comes with both transmissions. I feel like I would have gotten a lot more out of my money if this came with the laydown dirt and the carpet transmission, just so I can have that little bit more wiggle room in my setups and where I can go race, things like that. Because it already includes the short and long belt crank arms, so you have the option in your steering to do carpet, but you don't really have it in your rear end. And also the suspension arms with the pill system to change the shock position is a neat idea. It's a little cumbersome, but I'm pretty indifferent about it. I think it works. So final thoughts on YZ2T. I think you should buy it. If you're getting into stadium trucks, or you have a Yokomo already, or this is your first race vehicle and you really want a stadium truck, I don't see anything wrong with the YZ2T. It's very competitive. I don't see anything wrong with the YZ2T. It's competitive, has plenty of adjustability, and has a growing platform. So it's a win in my book. You can push this more than a buggy, yet it's still challenging. It's more forgiving, but also challenging enough to be fun and engaging and just awesome. It's hard for me to think of anything really negative because I've had such good luck with it. It's just with my CL2, I've had no major problems that would make me say, cross out Yokomo from your list. Just, to me, I'm having such good luck that I think more people should consider it, because it is a very versatile platform, and I just love it. It drives so good. Thank you guys for watching my review of the YZ2T. I know it's a little late, but hopefully it's been worth it. And next video, I've got another kit, but it's not a Yokomo. See you guys in the next one.